films. Been under the sea.
Aquaman. Hello and welcome to MGP308. I'm Kev, and with me, as ever, there's Sheepdog, Anna, and Pab. Say hello, boys and girls.
Hello.
Welcome to MGP308.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello. Thanks, Anna, for clarifying. What just happened there?
An echo.
Yeah. I do confess, just before Pab did his little countdown, which I still don't understand why that's necessary, but he does it anyway. We didn't do that for the first 280 episodes, but now Pab counts us down from 3 before we get started. Yeah. And I did say as he was counting, I haven't got a clue how I start this podcast. It's been so long since I've done this. What happens here? And those of you who record just the intros every week for comparison purposes, you can listen to them back to back in the future. You'll have noticed that I started slowly on that one, but did kind of ease into it as I got going. Kev's back, everybody.
Yeah, you were kind of back last week with your Chinese nonsense.
I didn't have a microphone. That wasn't me. That was just some bloke crashing Anna's podcast. If I'm not in this room at this desk with this microphone, I'm not on.
I wasn't meant to be, and I was trying to. What was I doing? I was printing something.
Those of you who have been on the edge of your seat for a week, though, that Chinese was rotten.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh, goodness me. The state of that toilet after that. It was hideous. Expensive.
Oh, yeah, yours was. Mine was fine. You had that weird starter thing.
Yeah, well, I didn't want real food. I'd been eating Blackpool food all week. I was used to the food of the North. So I thought I must continue the food of the North by eating some Chinese, which I believe is from the North.
When I asked you for advice on it, you said it was okay. You didn't say it was bad.
Well, Anna's enjoyed her part of it, and you'll eat anything. So my theory was, yeah, you'll eat it.
I didn't.
I've never known you turn down a Chinese.
I ordered an Indian.
Exactly. While you waited for your Chinese.
Pretty much.
When was the last time, Mr. Sheepdog, by the way, that we did a podcast together?
It's been a while, hasn't it? I was thinking that. Do you mean without Anna and Pat?
No, just two of us on the same show at the same time. It must be 2 months nearly.
I think the 20th of July was the last one. No, that's not right. 13th of July.
Well, Friday the 13th was unlucky for our listeners then, wasn't it? It's last time.
Oh, the legal beef has been sorted out now, though. Our solicitors have allowed us to enter the same room.
I wouldn't say all, but enough for me to turn up for a paycheck today.
Yeah.
So how are we all on this fine Friday, anyway?
No, she's sick.
Do I need to reintroduce you all? I assume there have been no podcasts in my absence.
I've done 2, I think.
Really?
In that 5-6 week period, whatever it was.
Interesting. Have we announced EGX then?
Yes.
I hope so, because I've referenced it a few times on my videos and stuff.
I want to say yes. We did it at least last week.
Twitter, definitely.
We did it at least last week, probably the week before.
Splendid. Well, now people are listening to be again. Let's do it properly.
We probably did it at the end of the episode.
Well, no one listens at the end. Right, boys and girls. MGPX is back. Drop everything. Get your MGPX shoes on. Get your classic T-shirts like the one Pab has, and get yourself to Eurogamer Expo at the NEC on the Sunday. What time is it, Sheepdogs? 12 something on the
12,
Sunday?
Yeah.
12 o'clock on Sunday morning / lunchtime. We are going to be on the Fringe panel stage at EGX doing MGPX live. It's going to be us 4, because we are going to convince Anna to do it. It's going to be us 4 plus some fella called Bouncy, who originally just wanted a lift and somehow has made it onto the show.
Are we really?
It all sounds vaguely familiar.
To get her ticket. Because you told me she wasn't doing it, so I didn't put her in the rundown of people.
Of course she's doing it. Of course she's doing it, Sheepdog. And if you're listening, Tom from EGX, just fast forward 20 seconds. Even if she ends up chickening out, Sheepdog, get her the ticket, for goodness sake.
That's a good point.
But yeah, we'll twist her arm. We'll get her into it. She'll be into the spirit. Once she sees me make a fool of myself the day before, doing the one that's now been renamed the niche gaming panel or something. I'm doing now. It's not
really
anymore. It's now a niche gaming one, but it's just Football Manager people on it. So I think they're just afraid no one's going to come to one that they call Football Manager. So they've renamed it for me.
So that was their suggestion, was it?
Yeah. Well, let's let everyone behind the curtain. Sheepdog asked many questions earlier this week about what do you want to call this thing? How do you want to describe this thing? And I was not particularly helpful because the conversation I'd had the day before with Mr. EGX Man, he asked me a lot of those similar questions, and I kind of just kept saying, I'm not really bothered. What do you think? And he did it for me. So my thoughts were, if I do that to Sheepdog, man at EGX is going to end up doing it for him as well, and I don't need to think.
No, I had to write it all myself.
Yeah, Sheepdog's a wordsmith, isn't he?
I am. And I mean, I must admit, when I sent it to him, he went, I'm not going to call you MGP because no one's going to know who that is. I'm going to put Mature Gamer. And I just thought we haven't really been called that for, a year and a half, at least?
If not longer.
Yeah, so I just thought he's only written to us because we spoke to him 6 years ago. I'm not going to ruin that. He probably assumes that we've got millions of followers by now. He's given us the lunchtime slot when everybody's stopped for lunch and wants somewhere to sit and eat, and all the seats are taken, so they're going to come in and sit in our show.
Sunday lunchtime, that notoriously busy time when nobody's hungover still in their hotels. They're all in EGX at 12 o'clock on Sunday morning.
Yeah, they're all in the hall eating Subway.
Well, I'm anticipating a lot of seat hunters.
Yeah. Good.
Well, they'll be in for a right treat. It's going to be delightful. So, as I said, anyway, MGPX is back. So, in addition to the show, obviously, you also have to come and say hello to us and do all the MGPX traditional stuff, get drunk while you're watching it, that kind of thing. I assume you can drink at EGX. I've never actually checked.
Who's going to stop?
There you go then. So you can get drunk at 12 o'clock on a Sunday whilst watching us just really, really entertain you. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Do we have a plan yet?
Well, me and Pab were talking about this before we started. It's on the last day of a 4-day gaming event. Surely we're just going to review the event that we're at and talk about the good stuff that we've played, and then open it up to a Q&A, like we would any other EGX episode.
Every other MGPX, the Q&A's never worked.
Yeah, but this is a proper thing. This is a proper panel. We can't do a 45-minute panel and not have a Q&A. That's mad.
Yeah, true.
The audience will be trained into expecting at least half of that being a Q&A. Because that's how all panels are, aren't they?
Might have to watch your one the day before.
And see anyone that we know in the audience, we give them questions in case nobody else asks any questions. Or
we just say, we tweet out 5 minutes before, we're about to do our panel at EGX. We are going to do a Q&A afterwards, but Sheepdog's afraid, so can you give us 400 questions just to keep us going? Just in case. That's how me and Loki did the Football Manager one in Nottingham last year.
You said I was afraid, and then everyone got involved.
No, I said he was afraid. We had like 30 questions.
That's a good idea.
We only needed the first 2 or 3, and then the audience got into it.
If Anna doesn't sit on stage with us, she can sit in the audience and ask questions and just keep interrupting. And every time we go to speak, she can just be like,
I assume Anna's going to be the microphone jockey, just running around with a radio mic for the audience.
All I had was visions of her treating the microphone stand like a wooden horse, just riding it around. You said jockey.
That would be amazing.
It would be pretty funny.
So, is that it? Can I sign off until EGX now, or do we have to do the rest of the podcast? You told me to come in and sell EGX. I've done that. Or do we have to talk about some games as well?
A month away now? 4 weeks?
Exactly. I'm Brock Lesnaring this. I've come in, I've done my one promo. I'll see you at the main event now.
Good.
Don't know what any of those words meant.
Pab does.
I know.
I'm literally not going to talk anymore. One of you's going to have to.
I'm trying to figure out what a broccoli lesbian is.
Oh.
All right.
Is this how it's been for the last 2 weeks?
Uh-huh.
No, I'm just powering up Pokemon on Pokemon Go. I didn't realise you actually wanted conversations from me.
Video games.
Oh,
Has anyone
yeah.
played any recently?
I'm gutted this week. I spent all week waiting for Shenmue 1 and 2 to arrive. Then when I tried to talk about it outside of this podcast, I kept calling it Suikoden, which confused so many people, especially when I sat on my video talking about how I've been waiting for Suikoden 1 and 2 to arrive.
Wow.
And I realised, well, I didn't even particularly realise midway through. I just switched to Shenmue halfway through, and the only comment on the video is, why did you spend 5 minutes of this talking about Suikoden? And then Shenmue finally arrived today. I played it, and
Is it broken?
no, I'm so sick. I can just about talk at the moment without wanting to vomit. The thing is, that game's old. It's so clunky. It's so clunky, and it's definitely lacking the 20 years of game design that have happened since. And then, like, after I'd played it, I said to my wife, I must have played that for 3 hours? Maybe I'll try and play it for a shorter amount of time tomorrow so I don't get sick. And she said, you played it for about an hour and 10 minutes. And I was like, oh God, I feel so ill. I played it for an hour basically and spent the next 3 hours laying on the sofa dying, unable to talk. So I don't know how the hell I'm going to complete it. What's the length of this game? I only remember getting stuck in a warehouse for
finished it, I think.
I've
year.
seen it finished last year, maybe. I want to say you're probably 15, 20 hours.
So I've got another 15 days of spending an hour playing it and 3 hours laying in a pit of despair.
Pretend you finished it like everyone did 15 years ago.
YouTube it.
Yeah, well, once I finish this one, I got to play Shenmue 2, which I'm guessing. Did I say the right one? Yeah, Shenmue 2. So I'm guessing that that's probably the same engine, is it? Because they're probably
Yeah, I think so. Shenmue 1 ends on a cliffhanger and probably takes straight into 2.
I'm so disappointed though, because it's a hard graft. Even if I wasn't feeling like I needed to vomit, Mrs. Sheepdog's been getting so frustrated with me walking up to random people in the street on the game and going, on the night of my father's death, did you see a black car? And then I skip through the whole dialogue where they just go, yeah, a car, you say? And then he just goes, I see. And she must have heard him say, I see, about 100 times as I went up and down the street, just talking to every person. And she just was like, if he says, I see one more time.
The only thing I remember about this game is driving a forklift around the docks. I assume you spent most of your time doing that.
No, I haven't got to that bit yet, but that's where I got stuck as a kid. So I forgot about Tom the hot dog fella. He's a bit weird.
Oh, he's the man. He's the main man, that lad.
Pickle juice or whatever it was. He was trying to flog me. I don't remember it being so anti-Chinese. I was trying to skip the dialogue, and now it'd been off 10 minutes, and my son just randomly goes, "I'm looking for a Chinese man." It's just like, you can't say that. Do not say that again. And he just kept bringing it up, because the worst thing is, when I found the person I needed to speak to, she said, "Not all Chinese people are bad." And he turned to me and went, "Some Chinese people are bad." And I was like, no Chinese people are bad. And he just looked at me, and I thought, if I'd have been in like the Walking Dead Telltale game, it would have just come up in the corner. He will remember that. Like he did not believe you. I know that that's going to come up now over the weekend. We're just going to be walking along, and he's just going to go oh, and run away from these random people that have done nothing wrong. But there was a lot of that. Them bad mouthing the Chinese. I know that there is some beef between them and Japan, and this is set in the 80s. But yeah, I don't think I could. I was thinking, what?
It's not set in the 80s.
Yes, it is. It's 1986.
I don't think so.
Yes, it is. I was playing it.
Come on, Sheepdog. Who's played it more recently?
It definitely is, because when we were playing it, I was thinking, I'd have been like one at this point. Because I know that you can travel in it. I'm thinking it's a shame you can't. I could have travelled to England and seen myself. And that's not strictly how it works. I did try and phone home on the little phone that they've got there at the start in his house, but it just says all the numbers are disconnected. So my parents obviously didn't pay the bills. I tell you what, I got an achievement, which right at the beginning, which I was quite pleased with, which was quite funny. The bloke's dad's just been murdered. He wakes up the next day, or whatever it is, and so I'm passing the phone, and my daughter goes, "Have you considered phoning the police?" So I did, and that's the phone. As he dials, I think it's 110. This is how clunky the game is. He dials 110 and then goes, "No, the police can't help me now," and slams the phone down. And I thought, well, why did you dial it if you're going to say that? But it gave me an achievement, and it was called something like the logical thing to do, or the obvious choice. Like, yeah, you should have phoned the police when your dad's been murdered, but he didn't. He just walks out the front door and walks around town barking about this black car. But yeah, you got like 40 achievement points for it, which I thought was quite handy. That's enough of a reason to turn it on as anything. So I'm guessing there's usually only 100 a game. I can't remember now. 1,000 a game. Yeah, sorry, I'm being a moron. I'm not very achievement huntery, as you can imagine, but I was impressed that they gave me one for that. She wanted me to phone the fire brigade, but I said there's absolutely no reason to phone the fire brigade. He was beaten up by a kung fu master, so what are they going to do? I thought as well that the cat you find in it, I thought that was later on and a bit more difficult to get involved in, but it's literally the first thing you do as you walk out the door. Some little kid blathers on at you about how the cat was run over and is an orphan, and it annoys me that I have to keep walking back to it now. I don't know why he didn't just take it home or put it in his pocket, but I remember as a kid playing this and thinking I have to keep this cat alive at all costs, and then the next time I came back to it, it was just dead in a box. So I don't know what to do differently this time. I was like, it keeps... Well, I fed it... See, this is the thing as well. It gives you a choice between feeding it fish or tofu. And I'm wondering whether as a kid I was just like, cats love tofu. Oh
yeah.
I fed it the fish this time, and then when you look at it, he just goes, "Are you cold?" over and over again. And the next time I looked at it later on, he was just like, "You look good." And I thought, okay, I remember it being dead by this point, so I'm guessing fish is the right option. I don't know what it's expecting of me. Is the cat relevant in any way? Will it come and rescue me at the end? No. So it's just an irrelevant side quest, is it?
It's just not even necessary.
Welcome to Shenmue.
It's just an immersive world, Sheepdog, where there is a box of cats every now and again. That's about it.
What, there's more than one?
No, I don't think so. Not that I remember.
Well, who's going to look after it when I inevitably go abroad?
It'll be dead by then.
You're understudy at the dojo place. Oh, that little kid who's with it. The little kid who's there.
Mr. Swear Word name. His name's spelled Fuku.
Right, okay, yeah.
What was I going to do? Oh, yeah. And my kids took great delight in the, you go up to those 100 yen things outside the game shop and you buy your ball, and I got stuck in a loop of Knuckles fell out. He opens it, puts it in his collection. He goes, "Perhaps I'll buy one more." And then I bought another one. Got Sonic out. "Perhaps I'll buy one more." One falls out. "Perhaps I'll... And they were like, "Do you think he'll just keep saying this forever?" So we just sat there, kept going to see how long see whether it would change, whether he'd say, I think I've got enough now, or anything like that. But I spent about 2,000 yen, I think.
Wow.
On Sonic and Virtua Fighter figures. And yeah, they just thought it was hilarious. I think it's just, I knew it wasn't going to break the loop, but they were really entertained by the fact he just kept going, I need to get one more. I think I should get one more. Because it's just, again, it's all those like, they'd have polished that, or they wouldn't have said that now, because it almost implies you should buy more, which you don't need to, obviously.
Well, no, they do that, but now they show like microtransactions. You run out of money. Yeah, put real money into the game and buy one more.
One thing that really wound me up as well was walking through the town, asking about this car. Everyone said to me, go to the seafood shop. As I got to the seafood shop, the bloke running the seafood shop pulled the shutter down on it.
Yep, shut for the day.
When I tried to speak to him, he said, I'm busy. And then he just got on his bike and rode off into the distance.
Yeah.
And then suddenly everyone was telling me to speak to the burger bar instead. So when I spoke to him, but it meant I'd wasted a good 10 minutes trying to find a seafood guy. I'm guessing the burger bar just told me the same thing the seafood guy would have told me. But I was really frustrated that I'd got there in time for him to be there. He just started shutting up shop mid-conversation. And there was no kind of way out of it. But that's all right. It's pretty much as I remember it. I just don't remember it making me this sick. I mean, I still feel really, really ill from playing it. But yeah, I mean, it's Shenmue. If you liked it, I'm still worrying I'm saying the wrong game name. If you liked it, or you never finished it, go get it, I suppose. Or I have my copy in about a week when I've just died from motion sickness.
Covered in vomit.
I sit a good 6 foot away from the telly.
What else have we got then, boys and girls?
What else have we got? I've added you all as friends on Pokemon Go now.
Yeah, you did.
About time too.
I've completed that now.
Show off.
I did. Had I done an episode with you lot when I completed it, or you at least, Pab?
Me, yes. You completed it, I think so. And or maybe you didn't. You were waiting for someone to. Last week, I think you were waiting for someone to bring in the last one.
Yeah, I've got it now. And Bosco's only one Pokemon away from completing it. Other than, well, I say I completed it, actually. They brought out Celebi on Monday, and so I don't have that. Because it's got annoying quests like hatch 9 eggs, and being the kind of man that doesn't walk anywhere, hatching 9 eggs is proving really difficult. Since I unlocked that 2 days ago, I've walked 2.9 kilometres.
Go out for a walk.
Yeah, well, I will. Now it's bank holiday weekend, but I can't just decide to go for a walk when I've got work to do.
You should walk. What? You should walk to my work on Monday.
I walked into your work the other day, and
you walked it.
And I thought everything you were just like, I can't serve you because I know you, and then you were serving somebody else, and then I thought I should probably get out of here. I'm interrupting your work, and I felt so guilty as I drove away. See you later.
They're really relaxed there. Like, I went in on Monday, and the guy who I was with for 4 hours had 4 breaks, and I was like, okay, is that how it is here? So just chat away.
Cool. All right. Well, I will come in more often. Have any of you started the Mew or Celebi quests on this? I wondered more recently.
Sheepdog. I finished Mew weeks ago.
Did you really?
I did. And I've got an an already evolved grass fella now for my Celebi one. So is that stage 2 or 3? I'm not sure.
That's stage 2, because Bosco and I are on 3, and the first 2 of 3 were quite easy, I think. But the Mew ones, other than the Magikarp 400 candy one, once I got past that, I did the rest in about 3 days. And I got to admit, I was a bit wound up with myself because I took it really seriously and tried far too hard to get it done. This one, I'm trying to just take it easy and not worry too much because it never goes away. But they've put in loads of these fillery ones where it's like hatch 9 eggs, do 7 spins, 7 daily spins in a row. So it's got to last 7 days and that sort of thing. And I'm like, that's not fair. That's just encouraging. So there's a couple of people I know who just changed the time on their phones to jump it forward a day and got the extra day, and have been doing that every 24 hours. It's like, okay, but I don't really want to cheat at it. I'm just going to do it in normal speed. But I'm watching all of them be halfway through, and I'm only on, they're on like level 5 or 6 or whatever, and I'm only on level 3, and I'm thinking it's not physically possible without cheating to get that far, you swines. But I guess it's not affecting anyone, is it really? I've still got more Pokemon than them. But there's a lot of FOMO in this, fear of missing out. I just don't want to be behind.
So
I imagine they'll just take the game offline just before you get this one, so you never actually finished it.
Probably. Go on, Pab.
where do you find your quests?
Bottom right corner. The pair of binoculars.
Binoculars, right.
Yeah. And then scroll right to where it says special.
Okay.
And it will say a mythical discovery.
Yeah, I've got that one. I've got to hatch 3 eggs. You know what I've been doing as well? I've been wondering why I've got... Sorry?
Eating the eggs.
Well, this is the thing. I've been trying to find where the eggs are. I've just been selecting them. And I realised I've been selecting lucky eggs in my bag and just been putting them on. I'm thinking, why aren't they hatching? There's nothing hatching.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then I only found out yesterday. I was like, I found out and I went, oh, what's this? This slides across this here. Oh, right there. That's where all my eggs are. I've been getting. And I had to secretly message Sheepdog because I didn't understand what a shiny one was, shiny Pokemon was, and if it evolves to another shiny one, and then he gave me a load of really detailed stuff on it, and I went, okay, so I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to back away now because this seems complicated. Oh, there's a lot of stuff in that now, isn't there, compared to when I last played it?
Busy game.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm like, what? Well, I didn't even see what quest I was on then. I was on, special mythical discovery, 2 of 8. So what do I do? Just keep doing these quests?
Essentially, just don't evolve a Magikarp until you've got to the quest that says evolve a Magikarp.
Stick your Magikarp on as your buddy now.
Yeah, what I did.
Can you do?
There were no missions when I decided on a whim. Oh, I've got enough to evolve my second Gyarados. That'll be great. So I evolved it, and the next day missions came out, and everyone was like, "Don't evolve your Magikarp." And suddenly I then had to find another 400 Magikarp candy because that's how many you evolve it, and you only get like 3 per couch. So I was extremely wound up about that one because that just felt like spite. The same thing happened when trading came out. I sat there going through my Pokedex thinking, I don't need all these extra regionals that, like, there was a special day where these Japanese Pokemon were in the UK and I caught loads of them and I binned like 8 of them off, and then trading came out the next day. I was just like, are you kidding me? Because so many people need them who weren't playing that day. So essentially, if I do something foolish in the game, they'll bring out a feature that relies on that foolishness the day after. That's why I'm amassing an army of Ditto, because I know they're going to bring out breeding the second I get rid of them. I say an army, I've got like 6. But yeah, don't evolve a Magikarp. So is that all you've played? Pokemon Go? Are you turning into me? Is this like an anti? I've played quite a few games this week.
No,
I was going to say, I was getting a bit worried.
Not all I've played. It's just
Bizarro World.
I play it for like 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes a day.
So do I, but those 5 minutes are just like stacked in order and stretched over 24 hours.
Yeah. It's literally 10 minutes a day, and then I put it away, and then I do the same again, just right next to a Pokestop where I know where it's going to be, and I walk past it every morning. So I'll do it there, and then that's about it.
How many have you caught and seen now? Because I can imagine yours is...
How do you find that out?
In your Pokedex.
Pokedex, you say?
Yeah, that's like the button.
Caught and seen. Caught 166, seen 219.
Crikey.
I need to have a look now. Hold on. Where's my WhatsApp?
Pokedex.
Woohoo! I'm beating Pab. That's all that matters.
What is your number? I'm not asking it mine's on this, because obviously I've just said that mine's full.
I have caught 299, seen 325.
It's not too shabby.
Yeah, that's not bad. But no, It's not the only thing I've played. Because I'm playing Fortnite still.
Yeah, now,
Okay.
we need to have a little chat about this. All of your Fortnite wins on Switch are just completely void.
Switch?
Yeah, they're void. They don't count.
Why is
Because
that?
I had a round of Fortnite on Switch earlier,
Uh-huh.
and about 7 minutes in, realised I was in the last 3, still hadn't seen anybody yet. And when I got face to face with the person who inevitably killed me, I couldn't work out how to equip my gun. And all I was doing was running around in a circle for about 90 seconds, building walls, and they couldn't shoot me.
Oh, that's funny.
Any victory you've had on Switch is void. If I knew the controls, I would have won that game.
I told you. I've always said to you. It's considerably easier. It's considerably easier on Switch.
Yeah, so they don't count.
No,
if I'm capable of getting to the final 3 without knowing what I was doing.
Where did you land, though?
In some desert place I've never seen.
Exactly.
Before.
So I mean, you land somewhere very sparse. You're not going to see anyone anyway.
To be fair,
I was in the circle the whole game.
Final 3's not that difficult. Lamp Up got Final 3 in her first ever go. And
but it was more the fact that it took so long for the person who killed me to kill me.
Well, yeah, she only got killed because I tried to help her. So I don't know. I think sometimes it's just luck.
On PC, the moment usually before I've seen them, they've headshotted me.
Well, I'm playing on PC again now. Anyway, I'm playing PC again now. I've got my mouse with all the buttons on it. Everything's all key bindings are on the mouse. I've got everything on there. So I mean, in this past week, I've had 3 victories, all on PC. 0 on Switch. This is the first time I've played it in a while on the Switch tonight. That's when I noticed you were on it. But yeah, they've got all new challenges in there this week, I think. Yeah, put new guns in, and it's like challenges within outfits now as well. There's a tomato head challenges as well, so you've got to have the tomato head outfit. Which I don't know whether I don't particularly like it because it encourages you then to spend the money to.
I was going to say that feels like they're scraping the barrel a bit, saying it's a challenge because you're wearing a head.
It's like a new set of challenges for wearing that skin, but it's not great, but it is what it is.
Does somebody call the police down your street every week at this time? Sorry to interrupt you, but does somebody call the police?
On a main road, Sheepdog.
I was going to say, like, every week that police ar goes by.
Yeah, I'm on a main road, so it happens sometimes. It does happen every now and again. Try to keep it muted, but when I'm talking, it's a bit difficult.
But me and Anna have now seen that you basically live in a field. It's all fields up there.
What you can't see is that's a horse and cart going by with a siren.
Yeah, you live in a field with some kind of pointy stick on the hill behind your house.
Fields?
Yeah, fields.
Right, okay. I know what you mean. No.
Yeah, all that grass pad, that's what I mean.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I couldn't understand what you were on about. I do know what you mean, though.
Green stuff on the ground.
Yeah. And the big pointy stick. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Are you finished? Sorry.
Yeah, go on. I'm fine, yeah.
I mentioned last week that Mario Odyssey had also destroyed me with motion sickness, but I went back to it after the podcast and learned a few things. Firstly, Bosco has watched this on YouTube so much, he literally knows where everything is, and that is so good to have next to me while I'm playing the game, because he just says, you need to go over there, or you need to do this, or, and not in like an irritating, spoilery way. I mean, he very early on, he was trying to say to me, go and do this now. And I'm like, no, don't spoil it. Just like when you see me wandering aimlessly, just pull me back on track with a bit of knowledge. I'm interested to see how much this game he's watched, because I know that he watches YouTube game stuff, and it's on the kids' YouTube. So it's not gonna, be anything outrageous. He's not, being taught anything he shouldn't see. But I'm amazed at how much of this he's seen. But secondly, I didn't get motion sick at all over the weekend playing it. And I went and, you told me there was like 25 moons in the first level and and every level pretty much. When I loaded it up, he wanted me to go straight onto the desert level that I had unlocked, and I didn't. I went back to the level with the dinosaur and that on it, and I found like another 10, 12 moons, something like that. I couldn't believe how much of that level I hadn't seen when I sat and played for hours on the first. I kept just stumbling across hat doors or like falling into a hole, and you could take over a dinosaur and just lay massacre to the room and get a moon for it. And it's just like, I was just shocked. And there's still another 10 in there that I haven't got. And I'm thinking, where the hell are they stored? I imagine there's probably one for getting the 50 coins, the 50 purple coins, sorry. I know you can pay Toad to give you a hint, but I resent the fact he wants money out of me. The amount of times I've saved his ass. It's not fair that he wants money out of me.
Oh, I was going to say, you haven't got Amiibos, have you? Because Uncle Amiibo will sort you out as well.
I don't have an Uncle Amiibo.
Uncle Amiibo's in the game, isn't he?
I don't think so.
Yeah, the robot.
Yeah, he is.
He's called Uncle Amiibo. And
must not have met him yet then.
Yeah, he's in this all
He
the
hangs around. He's always got a little corner where he hangs out.
Yeah, Uncle Amiibo.
He's a robot. Is he the round thing that stands on the Toad?
I think so.
He'll be near.
I can't remember. Yeah.
I didn't speak to him because I just assumed he was a tool.
Yeah, he's Uncle Amiibo, and you scan an Amiibo, and he goes, right, come back in 5 minutes, and I'll have found where a star is. So you scan an Amiibo one, and he goes, right, okay, I'm all about this.
I don't think I've got any Amiibos.
No. You need to go Amiibo shopping them.
Yeah,
I'm not that worried. I'll just Google where they are if that's what they're relying on me going and spending money on it. I'll just Google it and then find it out for nothing. The desert one was awesome. Running around in that, I was running. Bosco said to me, "You got to go into that town and start like talking to the locals," and I didn't. I did what I did with the game Journey and tried to just go back on myself and run off away from where the game was shepherding me. And I ran up a hill, and then randomly, I think just by accident, did one of those flip, and where he jumps down on his backside and hits the ground hard, and a moon just jumped out of the hill. It was like, yeah, you found the hidden hill moon. I was like, oh, awesome. So then I just spent the rest of the time checking out hills. None of them had a moon in, but yeah, that was awesome. Just noticing little bits as I was going around. It was like an eagle that you could just put your hat on, and if you put your hat on it, it gave you a moon. There's another eagle that I can't quite get. I don't know really. It's too high up. I don't know where. I guess I have to just follow its path around and figure out where to get it. But taking over like the bullet bills and stuff like that was fantastic.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, and it's just such a good game. I'm so impressed with it. I know we all know it's good and it's got a great reputation, but it is so good. I think the next world is the one where. I don't know, actually. I was going to say I think it's the real world, but actually, no, I went through a painting to the real world, got a moon, then went back. I think it gave me a choice of going to the water world or the something else world, and I went for water, mainly because Bosco told me to. I don't know whether he knows something I don't, but he told me to go there, so I did it. But I'm loving this. I'm hoping that just getting sick the first time cured me for every time I play it from now on, and it's not just an as and when thing, because I can play that without being sick, apparently. But if I go play it tomorrow and suddenly I'm massively motion sick again, then I'll be really disappointed. I'm also hoping that I've been so ill from Shenmue that I will be cured from it now. But I wish there was a way to fix it. There is. People need to...
Sheepdog. That's the very simple way to fix it.
Is
tablets.
Is that what it is? The answer? Do I need to go and buy whatever?
If you've got motion sickness, pop a motion sickness tablet. Or get some of those wristbands that kids wear on school trips.
I tried the wristbands. So Quells, are you saying? Quells and Sturgeons. Or Studgeron? What?
Yeah, get yourself some Studgeron.
What are they called? Because I'm reading it on...
I don't know. I just asked the lady for travel sickness pills, and she says, are they for you or for a child? They're for me.
I've been calling them Sturgeons for years, and it's spelled Stugeron. Stugaron. They're not sturgeons at all. I've been looking like a damn fool.
Yep. Yeah. Now you don't look like a fool anymore, Sheepdog.
No, that's really blown my mind.
Well, you get yourself some sturgeons. You'll be fine.
How
That's
did they
probably
know?
why travel sickness keeps coming back to bite you, because it wants you to learn the right word for the tablets.
I've probably been taking the wrong bloody things. I'm going to type in sturgeon tablets to see what they do.
Make you ill.
It'll be like testosterone lowering.
Baldness inducing.
No, there's no such thing as sturgeon tablets. Would have been too good to be
Sturgeons
true.
are fish, isn't it?
It probably is just like
It's
oil.
fish oil.
Yeah, great.
Right. Oh, goodness me. While we're on the topic of the Switch, I have been playing Switch games as well, because that's what I like to do, because it means I can play games while Anna is playing her games on the large television. I have played some Fortnite, as previously stated. I've played some Rocket League, and I reckon there's a good chance I'm even worse at that than I am at Fortnite. I literally just drive the car around in a big circle while there's a football match going on around me. It's quite entertaining.
Wow.
And I've also been playing Celeste, which is brilliant.
Yes.
It reminds me very much of VVVVVVV, that PC game from a few years ago, which was just really, really punishingly evil. And it is just punishingly evil. It's a 2D platformer, very old school style graphics. And it's just one correct route through each little bit of mini level. It's static screens, so you're not side scrolling or anything. You're going from one static screen to the next by finding the one correct route through them. And once you start to get a little bit further into this game, there's not a chance you find the correct route through first time. When I'm completing chapter 1, which probably took me, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, I died 107 times doing chapter 1 of this game, because it keeps track of how many deaths you get. But it's so much fun and so very satisfying when you do find that correct route. So I highly recommend this one to you all, boys and girls.
How many strawberries have you got?
Not many. Like,
Have you been trying to get them?
No, because it says right there on the screen, strawberries will impress your friends, but that's about it. Only get it if you can be bothered. So I thought, who cares? I don't want to. My friends are impressed enough with me already, so I don't need to impress them further. I'll just make them resent me. So I didn't bother. Or is it hoodwinking me? Do I need to bother?
No. They are literally just something for people who like collectibles. You don't need to get them at all.
Yeah, about collectibles. Yeah, it's
did you get to the hotel?
Not yet.
Okay. You had fun in the hotel?
I always have fun in hotels, Pab.
I know, I've seen your videos.
As long as they're Premierians.
Yeah.
Someone send them another invoice quickly. Yeah, that's it for me. And all of that gaming took place between the hours of 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. today, because I remembered I had a podcast to do.
Really?
Yep. 3 weeks off, and I've played 1 hour of games an hour before we started. I love video games, me.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Don't worry, I've not watched any movies, TV shows, or read any either.
We watched the movie last night, Kevin.
Did we?
Yes.
We'll get to that.
Chuckling.
Probably. We'll get to that, I'm sure.
Okay.
Any more games? Anna, have you spoken about your video games yet?
Not really playing anything new.
You're playing something right now.
Playing Diablo 3 again.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Console?
Yeah, console.
Yeah.
Because, Kevin, I have nothing to play, and I thought, I can't play what I was playing previously because I have to listen to that. So I'll play this where I don't have to listen because I already know what's going on.
You made me install Frostpunk for you yesterday. Have you not played that?
No. Because I go over to the computer and it's just... Though I did set up a SteamLink and they aren't worth anything. They're not worth the £2 I paid.
I did try and tell you that before you bought it.
But I just want to sit on my sofa and play my games.
You just need a long HDMI cable.
Yeah. HDMI,
Yeah.
not
You just use
Ethernet.
the TV as a monitor
Yeah, I guess.
and forget the SteamLink entirely.
But I thought it would work because it's in the same room. They're practically facing each other, but
Didn't work, no.
It did, but as soon as Kevin put, because I did it in the afternoon, and as soon as Kevin went in the kitchen and put Netflix on, it just lagging and just not very nice at all. But it was £2 a few months ago now, maybe July.
I was tempted to get one, but I didn't want to pay 3 times the cost of it for delivery. Yeah. I was like, I cannot justify that. So,
they did say that delivery would be about 4 weeks. It was about 4 days.
Really?
Yeah, It was really, really quick.
Wow.
Really quick.
Pretty good then.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. But then it's just like it came just before everything that happened in my family, so it's just been sat around. I haven't done anything with it. I thought, I'll set it up when I play Original Sin 2 because I know that's out on console next week. So I thought, well, I've already got it. I'll just play it on the big TV. But alas, it did not work very well at the time. So I set that up. And then today I decided to install Death of the Outsider, the Dishonored 2.
Yeah,
standalone thing, yeah. Because I did get it when it came out and I played it, but alas, I left it. So I started a new save, played it a little bit to get and it's alright. So you don't need to play any of the Dishonored. You only have to play Dishonored 2, even though this comes out. It came out after Dishonored 2, but I'm not sure where it sits in the timeline. I think it's between, like, just after 1, but just before 2, possibly.
Right, okay.
I
thought it was after 2.
It has to be after 2, because it's about the Outsiders game. But the main woman is the captain of the ship that you're on. You know, in Dishonored 2, you're on the something whale. She's a ship. She's the captain.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It's her. Now I don't know if it's before or after.
I think it's after.
You reckon?
I think so. If I remember rightly, when this game came out, I remember listening to podcasts about it, and I feel like it's after.
So it's after, but it's good. So like, the first chapter is basically your tutorial. You go through, you learn everything. Like, so you have no power. You have no powers. You just have like your normal weapon, and then you do. So that's the tutorial for the how to get around basically, and then you go on to the second one where you figure out that you've got some powers. You can use them, and then you go into a set piece, like a big set piece of like an environment with ups and downs and twists and turns, and you basically go around there completing your main mission. But then there is these things called contracts that you can do, and I think I think there's up to 6 towards the end. So the first one I had 3 to do, completed them. Then I had 4 to do, and I think they just put more on you as you go through. Now, even though you're in this environment, the environment, like your main mission does continue elsewhere. So, like, you know how you transition from one set piece to another, this happens. So the missions are quite long. You can be like an hour to 2 hours in just getting one thing done, because you have objectives, and then sometimes you have to stealth, sometimes you have to go up and over, under. It's all a manner of things that you have to complete, to put together. So I've just gone to the bank. That's all I'm saying. But like, with the bank, there was like 4 different ways I could get in. And I was just like, alright, I'll pick one. And then you figure it out, and then you think, I'll replay, because you can replay all these, which is cool. And then you go in a different way, you go this and that. But yeah, I liked it. I was playing it. I'll play it again over the weekend. It's just, I ain't got nothing else to play. Like I sit there with my games going, no, no, no. And it's just annoying. Like, We Happy Few, I'm just waiting for that to be patched a little bit more, because when I played it, it was full. It was
You're
just
playing it on PS4, weren't you?
I was.
Yeah, it's not the best version of it, is it, apparently?
No. But I like the aesthetic, and I like the way it is. I just want it to work a little bit more. Like, before, when it was out on preview, maybe?
Yeah.
It was just survival. Now it has a story, and I'm glad there's a story, because I wanted a story in that world, but sometimes you're just like, why is this happening? Just work. But it's like with most games nowadays. You have to. I don't think I should buy things on release, because you buy them and then you have to wait like 2 or 3 months for it to be patched, and then it works. And yeah, it's like we've got what?
A world where you don't buy games on release, you'd be unbearable.
Well, no, because like the only things I can work out, it's like now. I think Spider-Man maybe is out in 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks.
I was wondering how high your voice could get then.
But I don't want Assassin's Creed this year.
Yeah, there's Red Dead 2 as well.
Guess
Tomb Raider's out.
My time.
The end of September.
And
Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu.
Yeah.
And Smash
Bros. They're not my go-to games. I don't really like the Switch. It's a bit boring now. I've had the fun of the game, and so not a lot to do. Like, we got it, and then it sat in the garage for ages. Because
hang on, it came out of the garage this evening.
Yeah, this evening.
It's now back charging in the dock again on my desk.
Yeah, but I want the Fallout beta, and I want to be in it. Then I'll be happy. But because of all the uncertainty of, you may get picked. Like, what? You told me pre-order this, I'll get this, and now
See, did you see the Xbox live stream this week at Gamescom?
No.
Because they had Pete Hines on. The guy who runs Bethesda, is it?
Yeah.
Must be, yeah.
Made the ketchup.
Yeah. No, not that. Not that's not spelled that way. No, but he was on there, and he said pre-order the game and you'll get in.
But then they said a few weeks ago that the selected few.
Yeah. I don't know because it was on the Xbox live stream with Major Nelson, and they've got an exclusivity deal with certain things in that game for Xbox. Yeah.
Was it Todd Howard or Pete
No, it was Pete Hines.
No, okay.
So I don't know whether there's an exclusivity to like pre-order on Xbox, you'll get in on Xbox.
Yeah.
And then PS4 one's like,
well, it's October, isn't it? They're gonna stagger it for people who get picked. But if I swear to God, if I don't even get a look in before launch, I will just delete my big order and just get standard one, because it's £200, and then I don't get no, thank you. But alas, we will see. But I think that's all I've played. I just, with work and kids off all the time at the moment, it's just, can't bother. And this,
Of course, you haven't actually. Have you revealed to the podcast that you are at work now? They won't. Anna's at work. They won't know what's just happened.
We did talk about it earlier on.
Really?
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention.
I have a job very early on a Monday, very late on a Tuesday.
Yeah, are you in super early on Bank Holiday Monday?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I never.
So 5:30.
I might come in there and buy a pint of milk at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Only open. Still don't have a polo or a name badge I did get my discount card today. Yay. But
you don't want a name badge, I spelt your name wrong.
Not on, I don't know, maybe. Everything at work is A-N-N-N-E-K-O. So, I have lots of N's for some reason, which is weird. Like, I hope they sort it because I doubt it will affect my bank. But...
yeah, it's when your bank reject your wages because who's this Aneneka?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So, if that's it for video games, apparently I've watched a film. Anna, enlighten me. What film?
I can't remember what it was called.
Brilliant. Has anyone else watched a movie this week?
I have. I went to the cinema on Tuesday with my children for my birthday. We went to see Teen Titans Go to the movies, and I can safely say it's the best film DC have done in however long it's been since the Dark Knight film came out. There are no better DC films than this. It is their peak, and it was fantastic. I think my kids Bosco especially being just his hilarious self, half made it fun. They had an excellent promo of this because the whole premise of the film was that Batman's latest film's coming out, and it's called Batman Again. And so Batman, Again, sorry. And Robin and the Teen Titans are disappointed because they've not had a film out about them, and they really want one. And they're told that to be a famous hero, you need to actually save people and be heroes and do hero stuff, but B, you need an arch nemesis. And the arch nemesis has to have a dramatic sounding name. So they go through like Lex Luthor, and they're sort of just people are saying their names dramatically. And then later in the story, they bump into Slade. And so the Titans are practicing his name by just going, Slade. And that's the promo they use. They're like, the Teen Titans versus Slade. But Bosco, being a 5-year-old with no real knowledge of DC, and I always get confused with Deadshot and Deathstroke, and which Dead is Slade, Kev? Deathstroke. I thought I got it right. He doesn't know who that is. And so instead of me and Lampup were saying Slade when we were talking about it. And then about an hour later, Bosco just randomly goes, Sweden. We did not know what he was on about. We just looking at him like, what? And he was like, it's the thing from the film ad. We're like, no, it's not. And so then that became the joke of the day. It was brilliant. Just every now and again, Lampup or I would just say it, and we'd all start laughing because it was just insane. But the film itself was just great because it did a whole kind of Mickey take of the DC films that haven't been as successful as they could have been. The whole, they had a scene of Batman and Superman fighting, going, what is your mother's name? And then they hug because they've got the same mother's name, and then realise their dads have got 2 different names and carry on fighting. They had some really, really dark humour that I wish I could talk about, but it would ruin parts of the film. There's just some fantastically dark stuff where even when they're doing the right thing, it's actually horrific if you kind of stop for a moment to think about what they're actually doing. I can tell you off the podcast one of the ones that I thought was particularly hilarious. But does
that apply to everybody listening?
Well, if anyone wants to know, they can contact me separately. But if you want to know,
your phone number is?
No, they can get me on Twitter.
Okay.
It was because the cartoon's really funny anyway. It's a kid's cartoon, but genuinely well written and good humour, and it's funny. But on top of the normal humour, they had loads of taking the mickey out of the DC cinematic universe. They, the Titans are asking the heroes what films they have. One of the Green Lanterns sort of says there is even a Green Lantern film, but we don't really talk about it. It's rubbish, mocks it a bit. Superman's been in millions of films, obviously, so he's like, there'll be films about me made forever. Wonder Woman's pointing out that, it took a long time for her to get a film, but now there is one and it's awesome. They have loads of back and forth with their villain, obviously, and it's got a reasonably, as I said, clever story. I don't mean it like it's intricate. It's not like an episode of Sherlock, but it's a good story. There's loads of comedy I'm looking back at. I'm just trying to think what else about it that surprised me. I was telling someone at work about it. He went, who's in it? And I was like, nobody, because it's just the voice actors from the cartoon. And then when I looked it up, it's like absolutely star-studded, and I'd kind of missed all of that. but there's loads of. I'm trying to think of an example. The movie.
Is Nathan Fillion in it? He normally does.
I think he's in it as himself at one point. Nicolas Cage is in it. Deathstroke was played by Will Arnett, and I'd spent the whole film thinking it was somebody doing a Will Arnett impression, because he was obviously Batman in Lego Batman. So I just thought it was somebody doing a similar voice. They rip into Deathstroke a lot. The Teen Titans, when they first see him, go, "Oh, it's Deadpool," and he's like, "I'm not Deadpool." And they're like, "But mate, you're wearing his suit." And they go back and forth about that for a bit, and everyone calls him Deadpool throughout the film, and he gets annoyed.
Wow.
Obviously, he's like, "I came first." And I'm thinking again, that's surprising that that they reference Marvel characters.
Wait,
in
I
it.
was thinking
Stan
that.
Lee's in it though, and I had to check at the end whether Stan Lee was actually in it, and he is actually in it. It's him. It's not just someone doing a Stan Lee impression. He's in it, and then at some point says, "Why am I even here? This isn't a Marvel film." Just, comes back later on going, "I just love cameos." So he's in it quite a bit. Kristen Bell's in it. What else is in it? There's just loads of Jimmy Kimmel. Loads of people. It's just up there. It's really good. Rotten Tomatoes give it a 91%, which I think is surprisingly awesome for a kids' film, I'd say. I mean, the other, like, Metacritic is always rubbish and cynical, so I'm not really going to acknowledge their 69%, but partially because I don't agree with it, and partially because it was just a fantastic film. Loved the humour. I thought it was great, and I recommend, I hope it's still on, because I'm reviewing it like people should go out and watch it, and if that was the end of its run, then I'm lucky.
Get it when it comes out on Blu-ray.
Well, definitely, yeah.
Splendid. Anna, have you remembered the name of the film we saw yet?
No.
Splendid. Do anyone else seen any films?
Sheepdog's just triggered me.
He has that effect on people.
Yeah. He said it's best film he's watched since The Dark Knight, and I watched The Dark Knight last week.
And did you hate it?
No, I loved it, because I've managed to get the 4K Christopher Nolan box set, and I don't understand how it's in Italian. It's an Italian box set, apparently, but all the films are in English anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. But I managed to get the whole 4K Christopher Nolan box set, 7 films for £60, and I looked on it today on Amazon, and it's like £300. I was like, I don't understand. It must have been a pricing error somewhere. So I was like, all right, okay. So I think it's like 10 years, almost. It's just over a 10-year anniversary of that film. It seems bonkers, doesn't it? So I thought, I'm going to watch that. I'm going to watch it again, because I've not watched it in ages. And that film in 4K, with the opening scene, it was all shot in IMAX, with the bank house at the start, is amazing, because it completely fills the full screen. Pretty much all the exterior shots and all the wide shots are full screen. Like most films, you get a DVD or a Blu-ray, and they're letterboxed, aren't they? In these IMAX shots, the entire screen is filled, and it's just amazing. It probably is the best DC film, realistically, isn't it? There's none.
I can't think of one.
Better.
I mean, some of the older ones, like the original Superman, are probably more famous for, like, historically, but
they weren't this good, though, were they? This film is just like
anything where you can overcome major plot points by just flying around the world backwards, to make it spin the other way, to reverse time. That's not really a strong point for cinema, is it? But no, I guess that's definitely the coolest one. The next film's trash. If you've not seen
what?
Rises. Yeah, it's not very
fine.
good.
It's fine. It's better than all the other DC films.
My opinion of that might have been affected by the fact that when we went to the cinema, like, that morning, it was all over the news that people watching it in America had been gunned down and killed in the cinema, and then the film started, and I was just sat there thinking, I can't really get into it. It's like trying really hard to get into the fighting and the shooting and the drama and the action, and all I kept thinking was loads of it.
It's a good film. It's a good film.
It was a bit of a nosedive from the previous one.
It's not as good, but I mean,
but then the second one was kind of made good by the whole sadness of someone had acted really well in it, like Heath Ledger had acted really well in it, and then
they had to
like...
redo the entire thing because he was due to be in the third film.
Yeah.
So they had to pretty much.
It's building up to a kind of him pulling all the strings sort of thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it's still better than Batman vs Superman and probably Justice League though. Rises.
Yeah, but it's no Suicide Squad, Pab. Come on now.
Suicide Squad is horrendous.
It is genuinely outrageous.
I've still got my Suicide Squad hat that you gave me. I thought that was a really thoughtful gift for a lovely film.
Did I do that?
You did. Yeah.
I do not remember that at all.
Yeah, you gave me it at EGX last year.
Where did we? There's other stuff we got from that, isn't there?
From what?
I'm trying to think now.
Yeah.
Oh, Mrs. Sheepdog's making me some gin. Isn't she awesome?
From scratch.
What was I going to say? Yeah, but it's a shame that they've ruined themselves or their reputation around that, or at least Marvel have done so well. Thank you. Making their cinematic universe that DC are kind of... I mean, I feel like it's a shame Teen Titans Go wasn't more widely shown or more popular, because it would have undone a lot of the let's all laugh at DC sort of stuff that I know people are wrong for doing over Batman vs Superman and the Justice League film and all of that, but this seemed to show to me that they acknowledged that they've probably not done a very good job and they should do better. I'm hoping they're more...
Suicide Squad, which was ace.
It wasn't.
Do you genuinely believe that, Kev? Are you being a contrarian again? Because
I've got the hat. It must be good.
Good, he's being contrary. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel guilty. Not guilty. That's the wrong word. I feel bad that I've gone down as being on the wrong side of history in my WhatsApp group with my friends, because when we all watched it, like 6 out of 8 of them said it was the worst film they'd ever seen. I said I thought it was all right, and my other mate said it was excellent. I've managed to slide myself closer to centre, nearly into their camp in the conversation, while we all turn on the one who said it was excellent. And every time it ever gets mentioned, we all hammer him, and I'm sat there thinking, any minute now they're going to remember that I was positive about this when it came out. But I saw it again and was like, no, this film is not good. It's the abomination of like the Green Lanterns all flying in for a special effect CGI fest that
was in Wonder Woman, wasn't it? That wasn't.
No, that was Justice League. That was Justice League.
It was really bad.
Not Suicide Squad.
Sorry. No, but I just mean, yeah, both. Sorry, I did kind of merge films there. But because I didn't have loads of CGI stuff in it, did it, Suicide Squad? But what we were saying about Justice League, I mean, like
Crocodile Man.
You know what I mean? There wasn't like. It wasn't like major alien battles, is what I mean.
Yeah, they actually put a massive laser above a city,
and they flew across all that stuff. Yeah.
That man when he was on fire, that must have hurt.
Okay. Okay, it was better CGI in that film. It's more believable.
Well, it won an Oscar for its special effects, didn't it?
It did.
Oscar-winning movie.
Oscar winning.
Oh God! Whereas Justice
How
League,
many of your Marvel films have won an Oscar, Sheepdog? Suicide Squad is Oscar winning.
They reckon Black Panther's going to be the one, didn't they? Suicide
Squad.
The CGI of it was like everyone standing there talking in the real, kind of panned to this completely CGI painting with really fake-looking Green Lanterns flying around, and that was like out of the blue. And it was like they just vomited out ideas onto the screen, left, right, and centre. It was a bizarre film. I'm hoping Aquaman it will be their savior.
Yeah.
I don't see how it could possibly be,
because it's so well regarded in the comics.
But this is what I mean. Like everyone's going to be going in expecting rock bottom, but how many films other than like Finding Nemo and Finding Dory, how many films have they made that are set entirely underwater?
Well, this isn't.
Well,
he's been in 2 movies already where he's walked on land, Sheepdog.
No, but
have you seen any of these films?
I didn't mean entirely. Like a lot of the stuff that's going on in Aquaman, you would presume, would be under the sea. The adverts and the pictures all show him under the sea. In the blooming posters for this film, he's sat under the sea with loads and loads of sea creatures around him.
Has he got a song to sing about that?
Well, this is what I'm thinking. Like, you know, other than Finding Nemo, Finding Dory, and The Little Mermaid films, been under the sea.
Aquaman. That's Sheepdog's version of the movie.
I'll be commenting on how there was no CGI in that film as well. Just made him sit underwater.
That was a cartoon.
I meant Aquaman.
Goodness me. Sheepdog's lost his mind. Has anyone been watching television?
Television? Yes. I'm continuing to watch Preacher.
Why?
It's the only program. It's the only
not
one.
The only program, Pab.
No, it's the only program that is based on comic books that I like. That I look for. I kind of want to watch it every week because I want it to get to a good bit.
So you're telling me that you're watching this because you want to?
Yeah. I want to watch it because I want it to get to good. I want it to get good. I'm looking forward to bits that are taken from the comic instead of just made up make believe land, and it's just so few and far between. And this was episode 8, so there's like
season 2.
This is season 4.
Seriously, season 4?
No,
you
this
need
is 3.
to stop watching this, hoping it gets good.
This is season 3. Yeah, but I kind of enjoy it. It's just like it's just not as good as the comic books. I'll say it every week. It's just not as good as the comic books, but it's probably fine.
Well, it is one of the greatest comics ever, so it's never going to be as good as the comics.
Yeah, it's just so like disheartening to see like what you're doing. Just follow the content that's in the book. Stop going around things and.
But they know they won't be able to do it as well as the comic, so they've got to do something different. Because if they try and do the comic, it won't be as good as the comic.
Like, what's the guy called? The guy who stars Right Hand Man. The guy that had to count the sand. I can't remember his name. But I don't know. But he made him a vampire in this now. He's a vampire now.
Of course he is.
We covered this last week. I feel
like but the actual story goes in a bit more this week about he's a vampire. He's gone back to the workers in the Grail, but he's still a vampire. So you can't go out in the daytime. It was daft. It's just kind of daft, and it's kind of building up to the end of the season. Where he's got Genesis back now because he's not had Genesis back this entire season.
So that seems like it's not Preacher then. That's like doing. It's like the annoying Smallville episodes where Clark Kent doesn't have any powers.
It's like, yeah, he's this has pretty much been it. It's been like building up to him getting Genesis back because he sold his soul at a certain point for something. So
did he lose Genesis because if he had Genesis, his nan wouldn't have been able to abuse him for a season?
Pretty much.
I hate it when So I'm not watching this show anymore.
So the soul, he gave a tiny bit of his soul away for something in the end of season 2, and Star has it, and so he's still got Genesis in there, but it doesn't work because he doesn't have a complete soul. So he got that back this week, and that was pretty much the episode. And he's going home, while Tulip is being taken to hell on a bus with Hitler and. Arseface.
Did you just say Hitler?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, he would in last week's episode. He was working in a subway, and he was called himself John Hilter. Yeah, but it's bizarre. It's a bizarre program, and I kind of enjoy it for what it is. But knowing the whole book and what have you, it's just kind of disappointing. Whereas on the contrast to that, Better Call Saul is just going from strength to strength.
Me and Anna realised we didn't finish the last season of this.
Yeah.
So we went on to watch the new season and had 4 episodes left of the previous one. Yeah, so we're still playing catch up. Oh yeah, we're getting through them very slowly.
Yeah, I guess I'm not going to say much about it. There's another character from the Breaking Bad turns up in this one.
Ooh.
Yep, another one. And you don't realise who it is at first. I didn't anyway. I was like, I don't know who this is. And then he said his name, and then you're like, oh God, yeah, I remember who you are now. I know who you are. That's kind of cool. But it's just it's not even like this one just kind of plods along slowly and just slowly builds and builds and builds to the end of the season. I'm completely fine with that. Want to know where I want to see it going. It's not even. It doesn't even feel like it's going to be going. It's not even. He's going to be sold at the end of this season. You just don't know. You just don't know. I feel like you could get another season out of just not being sold. And then I think I was saying this to Sheepdog last week. This next season will be season 5, and that'll be the same amount of seasons as there were for Breaking Bad. And I just cannot see them doing more seasons of Better Call Saul than Breaking Bad. I don't know
depends
why.
on how much they like money.
Yeah, but if you like money, they'd have milked Breaking Bad for another 5 seasons,
Well, they
wouldn't they?
did once that started making money. They split the last season in 2, didn't they? That old trick. But I think Breaking Bad was under the radar for a long time.
Yeah, I didn't see it until I moved here. And
I didn't see it until it ended. Yeah.
2008?
Whereas now the money's flowing. So
I didn't watch that because their promo picture was them in those bright suit things, the hazmat suits, and I just assumed it was something else. I lumped it in with, like, is it Trailer Park Boys and stuff like that? I just thought it was a program about people and stupid antics, so I'd never watched it. And then my mate said it was nothing like that in a conversation, and it's like season 3 at that point. Binged it. I'm thinking I might just wait till Better Call Saul's finished this season and then watch all the season together.
I mean, you could do, yeah. Because they are still weekly, because of the... They're still doing the... What's the faces? Because it's not on Netflix in the US, is it? So it's still only a weekly thing.
It's not on Netflix?
It's not on Netflix in the US. It's from an actual TV network. But the Netflix bought the rights in the UK because obviously they don't have whatever it is, ABC or NBC or whatever it is. One of the TV networks don't have that over here. Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, it is. It's AMC, isn't it? Yeah,
which we do have here.
Do we?
Yeah, but you have to.
It's only on BT, so it doesn't really count.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Netflix have got the rights to it over here. So it's once a week.
Splendid.
I forgot to mention I watched Deadpool 2, which wasn't as good as the first one, but it was entertaining.
You not with us when we watched Deadpool 2?
No, we didn't let him come with us. That was just a cool kids outing.
Where were we?
We were in the O2, plotting to overthrow Sheepdog.
That's probably just at home, because it was London, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, you weren't there. That's right, Sheep. I've seen it. I'm just
I had 2 pots of ice cream before we went in, which was
that's
the best
right.
thing about that movie.
You were like tipsy, staring at the ceiling.
With the weird ceiling, yeah.
Yeah, but no, I mean,
a pregnant lady.
It's better than people said it was. A lot of people told me it was rubbish, but I thought it was alright.
Oh, I liked it.
I thought it was as good as the first one.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say nearly as good. I don't know. Maybe the fact it was newer made the first one seem better. Who knows? But no, a colleague of mine was like, "I'm not going to spoil it," and said a load of bits that haven't happened in the film, which was just stupid of him. But he didn't spoil anything like major. It's not that kind of film, is it? But it's entertaining. It's one of those where it was just like, "Oh, I can watch that, can I? Brilliant." What else did we watch? Found the latest season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which I know I spoke to you about it, Pab, but have you and Anna watched it, Kev?
Sounds complicated.
It's just
I don't like the guy in it. I find him very childish.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. I've watched the first 2 episodes of this, and I can tell it's a good program. But you're right, that guy just rubs me the wrong way. I don't know why.
I have no idea what any of you were talking about.
Candy Samberg, is it? Yeah,
never heard of her.
See, I don't find him too bad. The one that was annoying me a lot was I can't remember her name. She plays Gina in it, Sarah something. but even she's got. I think they've tweaked them a lot as they've gone along.
Right.
But there's like this annual tradition. They have several annual traditions that are awesome. They have an annual Halloween special where there's a bet that they can be the one holding like a plaque or something by midnight, and they all have bets on who can do it, and that causes carnage to unfold. But they have this one. I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but I was chatting to my mates about it. They have this one called the Pontiac Bandit, who's like this criminal that the guy spent his entire career trying to catch, and then he's never seen him, but then he thinks he's going to figure out who it is and catch him and arrest him, and he gets outsmarted and the guy gets away. And then every season since, there's been a Pontiac Bandit episode, and they've become closer and closer as friends throughout each season, to the point where they're basically best buddies, and he just turns up to just get involved in whatever thing that's happening in that week. And it's just, I live for watching it for them now. Like, I'm just waiting for that episode to pop up, and then I'm thinking, right, I need to get through this season and get onto the next one. And it's bloody good. I really enjoy it, and once you get to know the characters, it becomes much easier to enjoy. But I do see what you're saying about the annoyingness. I think their characters even out after a few episodes. It's like any program. If you watch Arrested Development at the start, the first couple of episodes, the characters are awful. I mean, in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, one of the characters is just perverse for the first 6 episodes, and then suddenly becomes completely normal.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah, it's worth sticking with if you've got the time, but if you haven't, don't.
Splendid. Any more before we move on to comic McBooks? Anna's favourite part of the show. Anna's got loads of comics to talk about this week.
Yeah.
Good.
I really don't. I don't read comics.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
One day she'll admit it. She loves manga. That's all she's ever doing. Reading manga.
Yeah, I nearly bought some the other day.
You're a psychopath, Pab.
French manga at that.
Anna, are you sticking around?
Yeah.
Woohoo! Comic books then, boys and girls. I have only read one issue of anything in the last 3 weeks. And believe it or not, I read it between 8 and 9 p.m. today.
While you were playing all those games?
Yes. I read the latest issue of The Wicked and the Divine.
38.
Yeah. I think I need to reread from the beginning again. I get like this with this series sometimes. I'm getting a bit lost about what's going on. I think I know what's happening, but I think I need to reread at least the last arc just to make sure what I think is happening is actually happening. But they're getting, the further into this they're getting a little bit arty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And keep adding in their extra pages so they can do their blank bits and get to the point, lads.
Yeah.
You promised me this is done by the end of the year. It's September, and we've still got the end of this arc, a standalone, and another arc to go yet. Something tells me these promises aren't being met.
I laughed because somebody sent a tweet out going, I've had enough now. I'm not going to read this anymore. And I was just like, dude, it finishes in 4 months. Now's not the time to give up. You've got to buy 4 more and then you're done. You can be angry at the end when it turns out it's all a big joke or whatever. It's all a dream. But no, I said the exact same thing last week, that I'm losing track. Even reading the bits at the start now where they talk about who the characters are and where they are, and I read through it and I'm like, I do not remember when they died, or I didn't think they have one down as dead, and I'm like, that's not how I understood the story to be going. But then I suppose Brain Dead is dead, isn't it? One of them's brain dead, isn't they? And I just thought they were in some sort of catatonic state. I didn't realise they were basically written out. So I think my reading of it is probably closer to the truth. Like, they'll probably be back in like a couple of comics time, but it's just odd. It's not like you saw anyone be buried at a funeral, is it? But you're right. I feel like it's gone a bit mental, and I don't think it's as complicated as it wants to suggest it is. They're just not telling us.
I think they did their big reveal was at the end of the last arc. Two massive pivotal moments, one after the other, massive, huge. And this seems to be right now. We need to tread water for 6 issues before we do the ending.
Yeah, it's like
we need to give people some breathing space. Yeah, it's almost like they're trying to stick. It reminds me of when we used to think we were capable of writing fiction, and we used to really try and force ourselves into a proper 3-arc narrative structure. And okay, they've hit their absolute crescendo at the end of Act 2. Now we're going to do Act 3, so we just have to take things back a little bit. We can't go straight from crescendo to climax. We need to put some padding in there to give people a chance to get their breath back. And that feels like that's what this is.
Yeah.
And you don't need that when it's being released once a month, because that crescendo was 9 months ago now. I'm ready. Climax.
I really thought about it like that. Don't ever say that again. I remember one of our stories having a 6-week sit around in a school doing nothing period because of that exact reason. And that is exactly what they seem to be doing here. Everyone's running around visiting one another and spending a whole comic going, this is where we are. This is what's happening. I just need to update you. And then I'm going to go and spend a comic talking to that person and doing the same thing. If you look at something like a Breaking Bad, even though that's not a comic or a fictional like book, it's a show, but that kind of reached a big, it's all going wrong, here it is. And then it just seemed to get faster and faster for the next 10 episodes, didn't it?
What it does probably mean, and Kieran Gillen even said this in the letters page at the end of this one, he's really looking forward to when people can read it all in one go. And I think it will be, if you read the full, what will be like 44 issues or whatever it is, you read them back to back in one go, and it'll be mind-blowingly exceptional. But I think what they're trying to do is so grand, it's quite hard to do it monthly. And it's leaving these weird little, I mean, this issue was just weird. For the first time in 20 issues, I actually had to go and look up who one of the characters was, because there's all of a sudden this blonde girl hanging out, and I'm thinking, who the hell are you? Where did you come from? I had to go and find out who she was, and that shouldn't be happening 6 or 7 issues from the end.
Especially because she's pretty pivotal, isn't she?
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't know what was happening. I was confused, and it wouldn't be happening if I was reading it all in one go. So I'm sure I'll read through it all again in the gap when we have the final periodic one. And then I'll read through it all again at the end, and it'll be wonderful.
Funnily enough, these same issues happened to me with Detective Comics. Well, you won't
be able to wait for that to end before you read them all.
Well, no, but I did what you were basically so they'd had this whole is it Tim Drake who's the
Timmy D
Red Robin?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so everyone thought he was dead, and then as the reader that he's not, but they can't see him or hear him or find him or whatever. And that was kind of dragging along. They're all going about their business, and I'm thinking, this is getting really frustrating. And then I didn't read it for a while. And then last week, I don't know what it was. I turned my tablet on, and it just happened to go to one of them, that I'd bought. And I was like, oh, okay. So I read it and went on to the next one, and on the next one, and realised that I thought it had only been a couple of months since I read it, but it must have been over a year, because there's loads of them. Or I'm just far enough back that I hadn't bothered to carry on reading it. But there's so many of them now that I've read through this whole arc where Tim comes back from the future to try and kill Batwoman because she does something that causes the whole Bat family to fall apart, and he wants to stop it from happening because it ruins his life and makes him Batman in the future, and all of this. And it's like, what the hell? So I was reading through all that, and it's just been brilliant. And again, it's another one where it's just coming up to it's coming up to its 1,000. It's on 980 at the moment. So it must be a year and a half away from its 1,000th comic. I can't remember how much further than 980 it is, but it's just not that far. It's still a year, but it's not. It's
2 weekly though, isn't it? So it should be less than a year.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I didn't realise it was 2 weekly. That's probably why so many have built up. Maybe I was reading. Maybe it's. I have no concept of how quickly these things come out because I'll read them up to the point where I'm done, and then I'll go and read something else and something else and something else, and then I think, I've not read that in ages. There's 2 or 3 there now, so yeah, it probably is 2 weekly. But that means again, it's probably a year away from being 1,000. Then is it? If there's
less than a year, I imagine.
I don't want to type in Detective Comics and what edition it's on in case I read a spoiler because I'm not.
Well, I will have a look. I will Google when is Detective Comics 1000. It will be February the 13th, 2019.
Ooh, Valentine's Day.
Yes, February the 13th. Everybody's
you know what I mean?
Valentine's Day in the Sheepdog house.
Did you see the whole anger and drama? It's comic related actually, so I can keep talking. They did this whole thing, and it's funny because I'm reading older comics at the moment. They're advertising it in the bits where I am, where it was like Bruce and Selena are invited to their happy wedding day and all of this, and it was building up to this story where Batman and Catwoman get married, and then the week before the comic came out, they did a big interview in some magazine or something. I don't know, like DC Comics did this whole massive promo thing where they basically completely derailed and spoiled the story of this thing they were building up to, and there was no need for them to do it, but they broadcast it all over Twitter, Facebook, everything, and it was like people just went ape because they've been building up to it. It's like literally every DC comic, when you finish it, it tells you to go to read this wedding comic. When the next one you start has adverts for this wedding, invites you to the wedding. I've been invited to this wedding about 100 times in the past month, but they spoil it.
All over dinner's Sheepdog.
Exactly. It wouldn't be the most I've eaten at a wedding, but they spoiled it, and then apparently the comic itself was a massive, massive anticlimax and a complete waste of time. And you got to wonder what on earth their marketing department were thinking spoiling it, and what on earth their writers were thinking writing it, from what I understand. I need to actually read it myself.
No, I've heard it's supposed to be very good.
That's not what the opinion of everyone I've kind of seen talk about. But
never.
But I know, yeah, I agree. So if you've heard it's good, that's reassuring. But you're the only person that said that.
I've heard it doesn't end the way it's disappointing. It's not a bad book. It's just not how you envisaged it going.
Yeah,
from what I can gather.
It seems, it just seems like apparently it's a bit of a waste of time overall. But okay, I'll that's the normal Batman comic, isn't it? I think I've not read that in a little while.
That's Batman.
Again,
that was Batman 50, was it? No, 50.
I'll go back anyway, and I'll read them after I've finished Detective Comics.
It's a milestone, yeah.
But what else was there? The Superman ones were good. I told you about that already. Steel one that I read, that I enjoyed that. I finished that off, and I was worried when they said this fella was coming over, because Bendis is from Marvel, isn't he?
Yes.
And I just kind of felt like I don't really like the way the comics I've read of the main Marvel ones I'm too keen on. They're older ones, so I was nervous thinking they were going to change their style, but actually that was a really good comic. And I think I'm judging Marvel by 20-year-old comics where standards were different and everything, and much harder to access and stuff, whereas this was fine. So I mean, until I read 2 or 3, I didn't realise it was written by anyone different. Suddenly, on one of the first pages, it just mentioned his name, and I was like, oh yeah. I kind of skip over a lot of the early pages of these, advert, see you later.
Fair enough.
The adverts are so much fun.
Yeah.
No adverts for Sheepdog.
Still not finished that TV thing.
What? Hello?
What have you read?
So, similar to you and Sheepdog, I have a stack of digital stuff now, including Descender. I think I've got the next 2 or 3 volumes of Descender digitally. As I don't remember any of it, I've been back and read volume 1 of Descender. And this book is amazing. I do genuinely like this series. This is by Jeff Lemire, again, another guy who just he's just got that many books out, and pretty much every single one I've read is amazing. But this is about the like futuristic world where robots are part of this universe, and these big robots just start appearing and then just pretty much like devastate worlds. And then 10 years pass in this book, and pretty much robots have been like culled because they are blamed for this sort of the harvesters coming and killing loads of people. And there is one robot that wakes up who's on a mining planet and sends out a distress beacon to try and get some help, and they have to go and find who he is. And there's loads of, I don't know, this book is just, I do like reading about this book and the intrigue of like these robots, and there's like factions of like robots, like a robot like clan that are like trying to fight against these other clans that are trying to anti-robot. And then there's a UGC, which is like the big like world governing body that are trying to get hold of this robot to get it back, to find out, because they've found out that the code inside this robot has stuff to do with the harvesters. So they're trying to find out how to combat against them. And it's just up and down roller coaster of a ride, this one. And the artwork is it's like water paints. Watercolors, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like watercolor paints, like watercolor drawings and stuff. It's really nicely done. So I've read volume 1 this week. Hopefully I'll have read 2 by next week easily, if not more. And then I'll be on to digital. So I'll be going back to the iPad for books. Or my mobile phone, don't know. We'll see.
You don't even think about reading them on your phone.
But that's the thing, though. What I read an issue a day at work while I'm at work. I'm not taking my iPad to work with me. I know what you're saying. It's wrong of me to use my phone, but what else am I meant to do? Other than start buying physical books again, and that just takes me away from the digital stuff again, doesn't it?
Get yourself an iPad mini.
No, that's not going to solve it. But my phone's nearly as big as an iPad mini anyway.
Can't you use your... Actually, you can't use it out and about. Can't you hack your virtual headset to let you read comics?
No, but I did read some.
Why don't you just print the issues out and then take the printouts with you?
That's a long task, but not a bad idea.
Do it for you.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, is it? I was going to say now, there is an app coming to Switch, which is like the Comixology Unlimited. And I don't know what's on
Switch, did you say?
Yeah. There's a comics app where there's a subscription service where you get access to unlimited amounts of comics that are in their library.
Switch.
Sorry?
I don't really want to read comics on a Switch.
Well, I don't know. It's something I don't know. Not everybody has an iPad.
Tell them not to bother.
I don't know. We're doing it, but like I say, it all lies on what's in their library realistically, based on the screenshots. It's all like indie comics that I've never heard of, or it's not like Image or anything like. It's like proper indie comics, like independently published.
And that gets them back on board. Yeah.
So who knows? It could be amazing. Could be a waste of time. Who knows? But I will give it a chance. I'll have a look at it at least. I'm not sure when it's coming out. It got announced online over the past week, so we'll have to see. Now I'm suddenly back in the digital camp. That's your lot.
Splendid. Well, I believe we're done then, boys and girls. So there's nothing more for people to do, really, other than head over to the EGX website, make sure they've got tickets for the Sunday so they can come and see us do MGPX for the first time in over 2 years. We're bringing this show back on the road, boys and girls. If we get 8,000 of you there cheering us on, we'll go on tour. We'll do a 18-date tour. In fact, forget that. For every 2,000 people in the audience, we'll add a date to our world tour that's going to take place over the rest of the year. So if you want to see us come and tour in your town, you need to bring all of your family along to the panel room, the Fringe panel room at EGX. Yeah. And once we hit 10,000, we'll even throw in 2 bonus dates.
How many people do you think have 2,000 relatives?
Everyone's got 2,000 relatives, Sheepdog.
Yeah, you're not seeing Facebook.
Go far enough up the tree.
I don't know. Don't believe that for a second.
Well, you haven't gone far enough up the tree, which doesn't surprise anybody.
I'm afraid of heights.
Exactly. Other than that, make sure you head to our Twitter because we all use it. You know, we're regularly updating our Twitter. It's like really interesting. It's at MGUK Podcast, or you can follow me at Lelujo.
And I'm at RB6K. She's saying it in Morse code.
I haven't missed Lelujo. Sorry, I'm just in a big fight with this thing, and it's.
I hope
it's mad.
Run into the house.
Sorry.
And I'm at Pab 1986.
We've also got Facebook, which is, I mean, I wouldn't bother if I were you, but just look for Mature Gamer Podcast on there. You'll find it. Does anyone use Facebook anymore?
Sheepdog.
Yeah, I do.
He curates that group, don't you?
Does he?
Yeah, I think so.
What it's called.
How's that? Yeah, you go. Brilliant. Let's go and hang out with Sheepdog on Facebook. Or, of course, my YouTube channel. Come and watch me do videos and whatnot. You get behind the scenes of our sellout at EGX. That'll be on my vlog channel where I'm talking about how we've sold out the building. Make myself
if that's not your thing, but you want to see people moan about getting a needle in the backside, chastised by a nurse, or arguing with a house builder, then my vlog's there too. Sheepdog says.
What's your vlog called? You've read the wrong part of the script again, for goodness sake. See you next week, boys and girls.
Have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening, folks.